Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. As many as 500,000 protesters marched in London Saturday to protest Britain's deepest cuts to public spending since World War II. The protests come after officials estimated corporate taxes would be reduced even as the government tackles a $235 billion deficit and plans to cut more than 300,000 public sector jobs. For more, we go to a report by freelance journalist Jourdan and Marianne Maeckelbergh.
On Saturday, March 26, 2011, an estimated 500,000 people marched through central London to protest UK austerity measures, which are expected to lead to the loss of tens of thousands of jobs and major cuts to public services.
We're marching against cuts. We're marching against the £9,000 fee impositions on our students, which is going to leave them with huge amounts of debt. I'm Dr. Graham Dyer. I'm head of the UCU at SOAS, the School of Oriental and African Studies. £6 billion has been cut from teaching funding for arts and humanities and social sciences. This is going to lead to job losses in the university sector.
My name is Nadia Al-Ali. I'm a professor of gender studies at SOAS, University of London. I'm also the Equality and Diversity Officer of the Union. When you look at the job structures, it's people in part-time jobs and people on non-permanent contracts, so mainly women and people of ethnic minority. And we know that they're the most vulnerable to the cuts.
My name is Piers Mostyn. I'm a barrister. My chambers has come here on the demonstration, and we want to highlight the fact that several £100 million worth of cuts that are being made to legal aid will result in large sections of the population not having access to justice.
I'm Tiffany. In the social sector, I was going to train to be a social worker, and I looked into it, and they've cut the funding to be training.
My name's Perry Lynch. I'm a teacher in Valentine's High School. We do EAL, which is English as Additional Language, and we have teachers from different schools come over, and that's one of the ways that will be cut.
They're slaughtering our public services, our hospitals, our schools, our town halls, our libraries, our universities. That's why we're joining with other public sector workers to fight against these cuts, kick out the Tory Lib Dem government.
A lot of people have arrived here to find out there are a lot of other people suffering from other cuts, and so everybody is uniting together a lot more.
Throughout the day, people marched, took direct action against banks, and organized temporary occupations.
Bankers, they're the one who, some say, caused the state that we're in now. I don't see them marching or complaining because they're fine. We bailed them out $1 trillion, and they sit at home probably or in a villa somewhere in sunny Spain. And we're in a cold, campaigning for what we believe in, and we bailed them out.
At 4 p.m., hundreds of activists from UK Uncut, an anti-cuts direct action group, occupied Fortnum and Mason, an upscale food store linked to a £14 million tax dodge. Influenced by the Egyptian Revolution and the events that occurred within Cairo's Tahrir Square, activists occupied Trafalgar Square with the intent to hold it. They set up tents, made music, and started bonfires to stay warm.
I think often there's sort of the perception that we are supposed to teach people something in the Middle East, but I think we've really been learning that standing up to politicians, to governments, and going out on the streets can make a difference.
At Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus, protests carried on into the evening. In total, 211 people were arrested on the day, and police say they will be using video surveillance to make more arrests in the weeks to come. The government intends to push through the proposed cuts starting as early as April, ignoring the growing public anger across the United Kingdom.
It's not like we're not working, we're not trying, but if you're not given the proper education that you deserve and you can't afford an education, you're almost just like, why bother if you're just going to start at the bottom and end up at the bottom?
There's a big change in British politics coming up. We're combining the energy and creativity of the student movement with some of the muscle of the trade union movement.
And I think that a major benefit will be to show everybody that they're not alone and that by getting together we can do something about it.
That report by Marianne Maeckelbergh and Jourdan from London. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report.